next episode of Better Call Saul.
I will put an end to this, whatever it takes.
How did you leave things with Howard Hamlin?
We didn't miss anything.
Hey guys, Kiwi here, warning of spoilers for Breaking Bad, El Camino, and Better Call Saul up to Season 6, Episode 6. In this video, I'll be breaking down and discussing the new promo trailer for Episode 606. Like the video if you end up enjoying it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad updates, and if you really enjoy what I do here, maybe even consider checking out my Patreon. With that being said, let's jump into the breakdown.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Of course. Come on in. We'll take a look.
To whom much is given, much is expected. It's just a phone call.
So wow, episode 605 was amazing. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time with my eyes glued to the screen. I can't wait to discuss 605 more in depth throughout the week, but for now let's discuss the 606 trailer because it's absolutely wild. So usually I break down the trailers in chronological order, but I have to just skip to the craziest part.
I'm right here. Here's to tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We see Ed the Disappearer's card. Not only that, but we see the coded book from the 601 Breaking Bad flash forward intro too. So let's discuss the card and then the book. I've been recently thinking about Ed the Disappearer actually, as it's a huge mystery how Saul/Jimmy ever got his connection. I was wondering if we were ever going to even get an explanation for it, and here it looks like we will. This is just so exciting. Ed was always a special last resort get out of jail free card for Saul, which he gave to Walt and Jesse. The thing is, Mike never knew about Ed the Disappearer, or he would have used him in Breaking Bad. This has been confirmed multiple times by the show creators that Mike never knew about Ed, and that Mike's problem near the end of Breaking Bad is that he had no way out. If Mike knew about Ed, he would have definitely gotten Stacy and Kaylee to disappear with him. The reason why I'm bringing up the fact that Mike never knows is because it makes Jimmy getting this connection that much more confusing. We see Jimmy and Kim meeting Caldera in the trailer, who's the secret criminal connections guy who sets people up with illegal jobs. If Jimmy got the Ed the Disappearer connection from Caldera, then why the heck couldn't Mike as well? We've seen both Mike and Jimmy meet with Caldera ever since the beginning of the show, with Mike meeting with Caldera even more than Jimmy. So if it's not Caldera who gives Jimmy Ed's card, who does? And if it was Caldera, why couldn't Mike get Ed's card too? Now in regards to Ed the Disappearer, sadly his actor Robert Forster passed away right before the release of El Camino, which was a few months before Better Call Saul Season 5 aired as well. I'm happy we got to see Ed in both El Camino and Better Call Saul episode 501 during the Gene scene, but obviously we can't see him on screen anymore due to the actor passing away. I've discussed this a year or so ago, but they can still have Ed's presence on the show without actually showing his face. They can just reference him via the card, or we could see his red van pull up like in Breaking Bad with Walt and Jesse waiting for him on the side of the road, or we could see a Better Call Saul character walk into the vacuum repair store, implying that they're going to go disappear without ever needing to show Ed himself. So there's still many ways they can still incorporate Ed into the story without physically showing his character, and I'm excited what significance he has throughout the rest of the show. We always predicted Nacho would be the first character to disappear from him, but obviously that's not the case, so does Kim eventually need to disappear? Also, there's finally the full number to Ed's vacuum repair store shown on the card in close up. As you know with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul phone numbers, half the time the numbers you can actually call, especially if they start with the digits 505, which this number does. So let's give it a call and see if we get a cool voicemail.
Please stay on the line while your call is completed. Long distance charges may apply. Please stay on the line while your call is completed. Long distance charges may apply. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again. 093P.
Yeah, I'd like a Hoover Max Pro filter, Hoover Max.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Okay, so what the heck does 093P means if that's what that voicemail said? This is actually similar voicemail to the voicemail that you get if you call the number from episode 602. I believe the number of the Hotel Ocotillo that Bolsa finds inside Nacho's safe. So I had to call that number multiple times in order to actually get the real voicemail, and last night just after episode 605, I called the original Saul Goodman Breaking Bad number, and I had to call it a few times in order to get the actual voicemail as well. So I'm pretty sure that that is the Easter egg voicemail. If you don't actually know, I have a series on the channel where I call all the numbers from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, so I'll have to call that Hotel Ocotillo number again in a video in the future and see what the heck is up with that as well. There's also a few other numbers throughout the shows that I haven't made videos on yet. I have a full list of them in my notes somewhere for video ideas. I'll get to them eventually, don't worry. I guess they made the voicemail like that just because obviously Robert Forster isn't around to record an Easter egg voicemail anymore. Do you think that they could have just used a sound clip from some of his dialogue from Breaking Bad or El Camino? Is this supposed to imply that as of the end of the Gene Scene timeline, Robert Forster is no longer in the business? Anyways, enough about spiraling down into that rabbit hole, let's get back to the trailer. So in regards to the coded book that we see in the same frame as Ed's card, it's a coded book from the Better Call Saul 601 intro scene, which was a Breaking Bad flash forward to Saul Goodman's house. A fellow viewer actually messaged me a few weeks ago on Twitter sharing the fact that they decoded the book over on Reddit. Long story short, it's a criminal contact book with people such as Huel, QB, Mountain Man, Mr. X, etc. So pretty much every person that Caldera has introduced into the show. Is this literally Caldera's contact book? Does Caldera for some reason give Jimmy the book along with Ed's card? I'm still confused on how exactly they acquire these important pieces of information, but I'm excited to see how in the next episode. It's been long theorized that Saul somehow takes over Caldera's job as being the criminal connections guy. So could Caldera retire or quit and give Jimmy the ropes? Also, when Jimmy and Kim go to see Caldera, Caldera's looking at Jimmy's black eye, but that's probably just a cover-up for the real reason why they're there, such as Jimmy and Mike bringing pets to Caldera in the past as a cover story. It's also interesting how Jimmy even brings Kim to see Caldera along with them, considering Jimmy would always go alone previously. Also, kind of a wild theory, but what if this scene of someone holding the book and Ed's card is from the Breaking Bad timeline? Could this be another flash forward, or is this actually the origins of how Saul got these connections during the current present Better Call Saul timeline? Now moving on to the rest of the trailer, we see a fresh bottle of Zafiro Añejo, which has major significance to the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul universe. Quick recap, first off, it's the type of alcohol that Gus gifts to Don Eladio in Breaking Bad in order to poison and kill off the entire group of cartel leaders. Also, it's the type of expensive liquor that Jimmy and Kim conned Ken Wins to buy them back in the Better Call Saul Season 2 premiere as Victor with a K and Giselle. That con was also the origins of Kim's bottle stopper, which is the bottle stopper to this liquor, which she keeps throughout the show as a symbolic and sentimental representation of her loving to con with Jimmy. The fact that we see Zafiro Añejo again makes me nervous. Is this for the Jimmy/Kim side of the show, or is it for the cartel side of the show? I think maybe Jimmy could buy them a brand new bottle with Lalo's dirty money as a celebration for what's to come. And in case you were wondering, Zafiro Añejo is actually a fake type of liquor that the Breaking Bad creators made up due to an actual brand deal falling through back when they used it for Gus and Don Eladio in Breaking Bad. So in the trailer we see more of Jimmy and Kim's con board against Howard, which I'll have to break down in its own video at some point, especially if we get more angles to the rest of what's on all the sticky notes. In the trailer, while looking at the con board, Jimmy tells Kim that they didn't miss anything. We see Jimmy and Kim cheersing each other saying to tomorrow. So what happens tomorrow? I assume another Howard scheme, but what will it be? We see Kim in court with Cliff watching her. Is this significant to the current plot at all, or is this just Kim in court for one of her pro bono clients? This may just be an intro for Cliff to speak with her afterwards, as we also see a clip of them talking in the courthouse. I believe Cliff just goes to watch one of her cases in court so that he can talk to her after and ask about Howard. After Howard realizing it was Jimmy messing with him due to Cliff admitting that he met with Kim when they saw the Wendy scheme, it looks like Cliff is gonna start trying to figure all of this out on his own too. So Cliff asks Kim where she left things off with Howard, which is quite the loaded question. I wonder how truthful Kim will be, and I also wonder if we'll hear any more about Cliff helping Kim set up that pro bono practice like they discussed while out for coffee during the Wendy scheme in 604. But also a huge Better Call Saul Easter egg during Kim in court is the fact that we see the Albuquerque isotope air freshener, which if you remember, it's what Jeff the cab driver had in his tank taxi in the season 4 Gene scene that freaked Gene out about him, implying that Jeff was from Albuquerque and was onto him secretly being Saul Goodman. Then in the season 5 Gene scene, we know that turned out to be true, with Jeff hunting down Gene in the mall during Gene's lunch break to confront him and make him admit that he is in fact Saul Goodman, which is incredibly dangerous considering Saul Goodman is one of America's most wanted at that point during the Gene timeline. Will seeing that Albuquerque isotope air freshener in the next episode have any significance to Jeff in the Gene scenes, or is this just an Easter egg? I assume it's just a generic, popular air freshener that you see around Albuquerque, but they wouldn't just show that for no reason, right? So moving on, in the trailer we see photographs taken of Jimmy and Kim, which is presumably from Howard's PI. I'm really nervous that since we now have Howard's PI following Jimmy and Kim, that it'll somehow get Howard involved with the cartel side of the show due to the PI possibly uncovering some sort of Jimmy and Kim cartel connection. What if Lalo pops up and confronts Kim and then the PI witnesses it all? This could eventually lead to Howard's death, as we've been predicting since last year. In the trailer, Howard says that he'll put an end to this whatever it takes, but careful Howard, they may put an end to you instead. So we see Francesca again in this episode, and it looks like she may be involved with another Saul Goodman scheme, and I'm interested to see how significant of a role this will play. Jimmy says much is given, much is expected, implying that he's paying her a lot to do something really important. He also says just a phone call, so who is Jimmy getting Francesca to call, and what does he want her to say? There's also a scene of Jimmy and the camera crew behind him, who I'm glad to see return at least once for the final season. I love them as side characters. Great comic relief. This show is really doing a lot of interesting callbacks in season 6 with characters from previous seasons, but relating them to the current season 6 plot in such an amazing way so that it feels like bringing back these old characters isn't filler. First Cliff and Aaron, then the Kettlemans, Werner's wife, and now the camera crew and Caldera, and I'm probably even forgetting about a few. We also see someone sitting on a couch, I think, while putting out a cigarette. We don't see their face, but they have tattoos on their hand and all the way up their arm. Who could this be? There's also more of Mike at the laundromat, along with a scene of Lalo inside some sort of building with a gun. After the end of episode 605, I'm really nervous for anything that involves Lalo. Will he find the Super Lab location? Will Gus or Mike have to use that gun that Gus planted in the construction vehicle? Could that gun be the thing that kills Lalo? Episode 605 was so amazing, and I'm incredibly hyped for 606. Only 2 episodes left before the mid-season break, 606 and 607. Let me know of any predictions and theories in the comments below. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today, and if you're new to the channel or just haven't yet already, subscribe and hit that bell notification to stay updated on when I post new content on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Check out my Patreon to help support the channel financially. It's a dream to be able to do this full time. If you got a few spare bucks lying around, it'd mean a lot, and also thanks to those who have already. But most importantly, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
I need a new dust filter for my Hoover Max Extra Hoover Pressure Pro Max Model 60. Can you help me with that?
No, imposible. Zafiro añejo. Hasta la botella es una obra de arte.